Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we'll be continuing with the database concepts. So we have completed the backend and we have built the UI for the sample project. Now we'll be implementing the database part. Right, so let's start. In this case we have three columns like ID, name and age. So we have to update the database, right? Because we have taken three ID, name and age, right? So when you click on save item, we have to use a on-click signal. On clicked. Now in the custom button, obviously we modified the colors and all this stuff, right? But the signals still remain the same, so it's on clicked. Now on clicked we have to do backend helper dot save item to database. Now here we have to pass three things, right? So first of all, let's pass from the UI. So I'll say const name equals name input text. It has a dot text property, right? So similarly, besides const name, it will be ID and age. Actually, first should be ID, right? So let's put that first in order. It doesn't matter, but for uniformity, we are keeping in this order. Now again the age. And simply pass these three values here, right? So ID, comma name, comma age. Now if you see this method takes two parameters, because in the previous classes we only worked with ID and name. So here we will also pass age. So I'll say int underscore age. And similarly in the C++ file, the CPP file, here you can just press this like function F4, right, to switch between header and, or you can just click on this choice, switch header or source, right, to actually see the method name. So it's save item to database. The third value will be int age, right, and insert or replace into the first table. Now here we will also insert age, so colon age, and similarly bind value. Let me add a shortcut here. It's too much to just copy the entire string. Let's see this shortcut. Copy down, copy line down, right? So here I'll say the shortcut will be, I'll record this, I'll click on here and I'll say Control Shift down. I'll add this and also say move line down. Here I will replace this. So I'll say any random, like something like, yeah, yeah. So now if you see, if I search again copy line down, let me move up, and if you see it's Control Shift down. Let me, so click on apply. Now I can simply control, come on, my bad. Like you can use any shortcut you want, right? So it's easy to work with the editor. And this will be underscore age. So after this item will be saved successfully. But if you see, the first table must be created, or we should run the create table command properly. Now it has two columns. If you see ID, which is integer, and primary key, which is unique, and name, which is text. It should also have a third column. So I'll call this age, which should also be integer, right? And this second table is garbage now. No need for this. But yeah, you can keep this because we are only operating on the first table, right? So this is the save item to database thing, right? Let's also modify the fetch method. Where was the fetch? This one, right? Select start from first table, order by name, ascending, or ID. Here let's keep this ordering. There is no need for a third ordering based on age, because ID is unique by default, right? Or you can do this age, like if you want to show whoever is the smaller in age first, so age ascending, then ID descending, right? So yeah, it's your choice. the ID is, name is, and again we'll print, and age is colon age. But for age you have to also take it out, right? So it will be int age equals query dot value. Now the second column to int, because age is integer, so the second column, first was ID, second column was name, third column is age, right? I hope you remember. Now we have completed save, we have completed fetch. Let's complete update. So this parameter should also change. Again we should also pass underscore new age or updated age, right? So again copy this in the header file. So press F4, or in my case function F4. Here just add the new parameter. Now let's call this method from the QML file. So you have the update item button. So on clicked, sorry, just copy this, paste here, and instead of save item we will call this update item. Let's let autocomplete first. Yep, this method. Now we did not provide any check if ID is empty or name is empty or age is empty. Like we should have provided a check, right? So if ID is empty or age is empty or name is empty, return, because we should not save empty values in the database, right? So copy this same condition here, right? So we finish with the update method. Now delete all items. We can simply call the delete item in the database. So there are two options. One is pass by ID. Second is delete everything, right? So this is no need to update here, right? Because even if we add more columns, that is not necessary, because we only need the ID column. If you got me, if you add age, phone number, anything other, license, something, doesn't matter, because we are only deleting based on the ID, and ID was already there in the previous example. Or otherwise, if you don't pass the ID, you know by default we are deleting everything, right? So yeah, here I'll say on clicked, backend helper dot delete item in database. Now I have not passed anything, so by default the ID value will be 0, which means if the ID is greater than this condition will not fulfill, we will go in else. In else we will delete everything, right? So all the items will be deleted, right? So we are finished, we completed the delete one. Now for the fetch, for now let's just run the backend file. So on clicked, backend helper dot fetch items from database. Let's just run this for now. Okay, it's taking some time to build. So if I click on fetch, nothing happens, but let's click on save, nothing happens. Let's add an ID, name is ABC, and age is, let's say, 22. Save. When I click on save, nothing happens. Wow. Why is that? I think I should delete the previous database. Let's just delete this build. Let's rebuild, because my previous database only had 2 columns, right? We will see how to modify this, but for now let's just go with it. It's taking some time to build. Let's click on run. ID is 1, name is ABC or something, age is 22. Click on save. Item save successfully. Okay. ID, let's give it 2. then give it def, age is 44, id is 3, name let's say xyz, and age let's say 25. Now let's say id is 4 and jkl, why not, 33, save. So 4 items, if you see 4 items have been saved successfully in the logs, if you can see my logs, right? Now let's click on fetch all items and see. So all the items are fetched. Now this list has to be updated, right now it's random value. Funny enough, we should not put random values initially, but for just displaying purpose we did that, right? So what we will do is, when we fetch all the items from the database, we store it here. So we'll say const received data equals this, then we will call this dot clear method. So we'll also call itemdb model dot clear, so it will remove all the elements, right? And after that we will assign, we'll say itemdb model equals this received data. So now whatever data we get from the backend, we will assign in the list model. Now this list model is being used here, so this view will also be updated. I hope you got my point. We got all the items from the database, we cleared the previous model, and then we updated the model. So now whatever item we get from the database, we will be storing in the itemdb model. Now how to do this, let's see. So let's see the fetch item. So instead of void, it should not return void. Void means nothing, like returning nothing. So we should return something. So what we will return is, we will return a Q variant list. I'll tell you what this is. So we will return this Q variant list, and here we will also update the function return parameter. So Q variant list. Now Q debug is okay, but we should also store this, right, in a Q variant map. So let's say before even the query, let's say we have a Q variant list, new items list, right? Initially this is empty, right? Now we will have a Q variant map. Now let me tell you about the map and the list, what this is, right? So let me open the whiteboard and let's see for now. So basically we can have 4 items in the DB, right? 4 items. Wow. Let's say we have 4 items in the DB. So this is the first, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth item, right? So each item is not a number, let's say 1, 2, 3. Otherwise this would be a very simple array, right? But each item is not simply a number or a string. It's a combination. So it has 3 things. It has ID, it has name, and it has age. Now how to store this? If you know, there is a C++ data structure which is called a map, right? If you know what a map is, so map is basically key value pair. So let's say you have a key, right? This is a map. So the key will be name and the value will be ABC. Key will be age and the value will be, let's say, 22, and the key will be ID and the value will be, let's say, 1, right? Something. So to store key value pair, we use something called a map. And similarly for Qt, we have Q variant map. Now what is Q variant map and why is it different? So Q variant map means we can store any data type of any order. Like for example, ABC is a string, this is a number. Like, so in that case we can store any data type of any thing, right? So that's why Q variant, because we do not know the data type. So for storing anything, so we use Q variant map. So here I'll say, let's say Q variant map item map. Let's call this item map. Now what we will do is we'll say item map ID. So this ID is the key, right? Equal to this value. Now if you are getting confused, you can obviously name this underscore ID or something, right? So that you don't get confused. Again, when you print this, you have to use or add underscore here. Equals underscore ID. This underscore ID is what you fetched. Okay, come on, man. new items list. Just return the new item list, right? This new item list. I just fixed this issue. Yeah. So just think for a bit, right? You are fetching these three things from the database. You are storing them in a map, and then you are like let me just complete this. So I will also say item map, and you have guessed it, name equals underscore name. Item map age equals underscore age. Now the UI, the QML file will get these three keys with these three values, right? So each list element, let me show you what a list element is. This each list element, initially it had underscore ID, only name, only age, but this time it will not have underscore ID, it will have only ID and only name and only age, right? So let's say if this was earlier underscore or something, let's say at the rate something, right? So no, but now from the backend model it will get these three things. So instead of underscore ID, because in the double quotes you only added ID, so it will only get ID. If you call this ID2, then it would have gotten ID2, not ID, not underscore ID, but ID2 as the key. I hope you got my point. So this part would have been then ID2, because that is what you sent from the backend after updating, because we are clearing this model, so all of this garbage is gone. After that we just assign it back. So right, so I hope you got my point. Now we created the map, but you have to push this to the array or the new item list. This is basically a list, an array of what? Array of QVariant map. So I'll say new item list dot append simply means to add or push this map. And finally, when all the loop is over, you just return this new item list map. Let's see for now, but you will see an issue here, because initially there was only ID underscore ID here. So we said required property int underscore ID, but now we are changing it. So here we should add underscore ID. Let's see. Click on fetch. Is not an L value. Okay. So in Qt I think we cannot simply assign that. Okay, let's see a method. So we should call the append method. Got it. Okay. So let's do that. Append, because we cleared, so it's empty, and after that we are appending the QVariant list. Let's see now. Okay. For some reason this is empty. Let's see why. We are passing a JSON here. I think the issue is append only adds a single item, so I think we have to loop over all the items. So loop over all the received data, right? So for let I equal 0, I less than received data, sorry, dot length I plus plus item DB model dot append received data of I, basic array appending. Let's see now if this works. And this worked. So I guess we had to append all of the items. I thought simply assigning would have been done, but I guess this is an ID and there is no such constructor there. Let's see if there is any other method here. So I'll do one thing. I'll just check from like I'll check on my own, but for now let's just go with this append thing. Like we are looping over, because we received 4 items, right? This array was of 4 items, so we will loop over 4 items and append here. So this is one way. Now if you see clearly my list has this thing. Let's add one more thing, right? Let's add a delete button. So after the text in the row layout, we will add a button. Just a minute. Let's add a button here. Instead of -5, let's add -10 to give some spacing. And in the button we will say layout.fill with true. And let's give the button text as del, that means delete, right? So on clicked, what we will do is we are just deleting the item. If we click on this button, we will delete the item, right? So what we will do is we will call it backend helper. Where was the delete all items? Yeah, this one. Yeah. So we will call this method backend helper dot delete item in database, and here we will pass the ID. Where we will get the ID? We will get the ID from here. This one, required property in ID, right? So we got the ID. We will pass it here. Let's run the application now. And let's see. Fetch all items, right? And let's say we add another ID 7, and then they will be, let's say, DSA, data structures and algorithms, and age is, let's say, 22, and click on save. Now we have to fetch again, right? So this was DSA. I don't actually see the button, right? So at least let's give some layout.preferred width. Layout.preferred width of, let's say, at least 24. Layout.minimum width of, let's say, 24. So at least it's visible. So it's very small. I think we should have proper more management, right? What we can do is we can just simply add divide by 4 minus let's remove this spacing, right? It's too much of a hassle, right? Let's give equal width to all of them. And for this one we can just simply say layout.fill with true. It will take the remaining width. Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? Let's also increase the width and click on fetch all items. Now let's delete this DSA. Item deleted successfully. Click on fetch all items. Now if you see, we have to, every time we have to click on this fetch all items button, but that is not a good thing, right? So this should be done automatically when we perform the action. So let's add a method. Let's add a method, a function at the top. So this function will be update item list or something, right? So this will again update the item list. So let's copy this part. This part. Let's copy this and let's paste it in the method. And here we will just call this method every time, right? Even here we can just simply call the method. Why even duplicate, right? So we will call this method. Also, after you delete an item, you should call the method. And again, when you add an item, we should call the method. So let's see where we delete all items also, right? Here also we should update the list. Here also we should update. And here also you should update. And that's it. Let's run the application once. Every time you are calling this method, so you are updating the list, right? So let's click on fetch all items, right? In fact, this should be the first thing, right? Let's do that also, right? Let's do that. Let's remove these 3 elements. So initially this is empty, and here let's add component.onCompleted. Call that method. So whenever the list view is visible, whenever the window is visible, you call this method, right? So whenever this list view is fully loaded in the window, like when you double click an application, you see that there is some delay, right? like when you click on this run, you see there is some delay. After that, the window is visible, right? So when this is visible, update the list item. So you will see this is updated, right? Now let's add a new item. Let's add a item 5. Name will be, let's say, RED red, and the age, let's say 43. Let's click on save. You will see red is added, right? So I think this is alphabetical order, that's why R is here. So let's update the red, and age, let's say now is 23. Let's update. Okay. Why did it not update? Let's click on fetch all items. So I clicked on update, but the red did not update, right? There is some issue with the update method. Let's see where we went wrong. We sent the name, we sent the ID, we sent the age. Let's see in the backend helper. Update item, updated age, updated name and ID. I forgot to add the bind value. My bad. Here we also have to pass the updated age, right? There is nothing called phone. Forget that. Here let's say age and pass the updated age. Even when ID is not greater than, when ID is equal to ID, right? Like when the ID is equal, update that. This was only where I was showing you examples. I hope you got my point. We are updating the name, we are updating the age, where the ID is matching. So let's say I update ID with 7. So whichever ID is 7, the age will be updated and name will be updated. We can also call this updated age for more clarity purpose, right? Yeah, now I think this is clear. Let's run the application once and see if this is actually being updated. Taking some time to build. And let's update this red one only. 5, the name will be red and age will be, let's say, 23. And click on update, and if you see age is updated to 23, right? If you click on fetch all items, this is useless now, but anyway, so this is how you store the database. And when you close and when you run again, so you see your data persists. That means your data remains. It does not your data is not deleted easily, instantly. So in the next video we'll be seeing how to, like, we'll be working with more examples in database, and we'll be storing the database in a better location. Currently your database is stored here in the build folder, which is not a good way or a good place to store, right? So next time we'll store in a documents location or something else, but that is for a later video. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Thank you.